your mind.
Yeah. Well, it's great to meet you. I know you're very active in the Kansas City area, so I want to get into your career, your music, what you're doing now, recordings, all of the good business. So thank you for taking a minute out today.
Of course, my pleasure.
So let's begin with this. 6 years ago, we look at the calendar and the pandemic was happening. It was taking hold, erasing schedules and itineraries. How did you, as a musician, get through that era, and how has it changed the way that you approach things today?
Well, that's a very good question, Joe. So I think that is a time that I think no musician, well, let's start, no one in the world was prepared for. But then as a musician, I think because we are creative minds, we have always, and this is me talking, been able to make money with our creativity. Like no matter what the economy is doing, it does affect us, but we're usually able to use our creativity to make us money. That was a situation to where it put a lot of things on hold even for major artists that I've worked for, where they were there with a company, a big label, or anything like that, to where everybody was like, whoa, even seeing it from the top. We don't know what to do, but it caused us to be able to pivot. So, one thing that it did do is like, okay, as musicians, now we got to think outside the box. What do we do in this time? So, that's at that time you saw people recording, getting on social media, doing recordings as far as live concerts, but people can get on their social media. During that time, I was working with Strange Music with Tech Nine and Chris Calico, and at that time they had one of their biggest live concerts that I was able to be a part of. Really, Chris Calico in regards to his live concert. So I was able to witness of, all right, this is what it looks like of putting on a live show online, and people logged on because they were thirsty and hungry for entertainment. So a lot of pivoting. It opened up doors for now to where no matter what, we are able to use the social media platforms to really use it to our advantage. But as far as me, my band, and what I was doing, it was different. I remember at that time there were some grant proposals, and I was able to take advantage of being at the Phoenix and being able to perform at the Phoenix. And I think that's the only time that I have been there to perform, not because I haven't been asked, but it was it was great because we were just wanting to be out the house and wanting
Yeah.
to be that human touch. So I know I'm rambling on, but it was different.
Yeah.
It caused us to pivot. It was good. No, the good is it later. It was
Right.
not good, but then it caused it to be good because it forced us to really think outside the box. So
Yeah, it certainly did. So let me ask you this. Take me back to your roots. Are you from Kansas City originally?
I am from Wyandotte County. I'm
Okay.
a dot girl. So
I
yep,
love it.
I'm from Kansas City.
Okay.
Um, and born and raised, I was a preacher's kid, a pastor's kid. And a lot of musicians know me from my brother, Donovan Bailey, Day Day. So a lot of people, he was a huge jazz drummer, musician in the city. He passed in 2016, but a lot of people know him from Lonnie and Ronnie McFadden. He was their drummer for over 20 plus years. So
Yeah.
me and him were 10 years apart. And so I'm the little sister that came along, and people are like, oh, yeah. So a lot of people kind of remember me or know me from that. So, yeah, born and raised here in Kansas City.
So who are influences? Who, whether locally or nationally or internationally, who were you looking up to and emulating?
Man, so I'm going to tell you for locally, I actually was looking at Lonnie McFadden and Ronnie McFadden because they're like family, the McFadden family, because my brother was very heavily involved and played. So when, I was younger, I would go to Plaza 3 when they were in the basement, performing and showing up and popping up. I was in college, in town and seeing their performance. And so I learned a lot from Lonnie because the way he works the stage, but not only when he's on stage, but when he's off the stage.
Hmm.
Like he'll go and talk to the audience and so forth. And I implement that in my performances because your people are really without them, we were unable to do what we do now. So locally, him, as far as Lonnie was a big influence. As far as nationally, it's a lot. Like, so Not only do I sing a little jazz, but I do a lot of Motown R&B and so forth. So Aretha Franklin, when I first got on the scene, big band, I played with the band called Atlantic Express for over 10 years. And I was hired on by Gary Mack to do Aretha Franklin songs for that band, which was ironic because I was a little quiet church girl voice. I did not have a big voice. You would not be able to tell today, but doing that forced me to really widen my vocal range. And so Aretha, because we're both PKs, preacher kids and so forth like that, I began to study her. Also, Tina Turner. I have a tribute band that I was a part of that I emulated Tina Turner. So I had to really dig deep, even from her talk, her cadence, how she moved, sung, and all of that. I love Jill Scott as far as up and coming. But if I go back into jazz, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, um, listen to those. And a lot of times I'll do the arrangements with like on Boy from Ipanema. A lot of people don't do it. So my band, we execute. We do
Yeah.
that particular format when we get on stage. So a lot of influences. I can go on and on. Shaka Khan. I love me some when I sing her. I get a lot of love when I do Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
So I have a very wide palette of music and influences.
Do you remember who the first singer or band or act you saw growing up was that really moved you, that really made you think, I want to get up there and do that one day?
Man, that is a good question. Because music has always been a part of my bloodline. It really has.
Yeah.
As far as I'm gonna go gospel. The
Yeah.
very first time, because growing up as in the church, I'm gonna say Yolanda Adams. When I was seeing Yolanda Adams up there singing, she was one of my biggest influences that I listened to, and I was like, man, I really, really want to do this. Man, I just really felt it, and just really her songs spoke to me. As far as outside of the church. Man, I kind of have a two in one. I'm gonna say, as far as a woman, man, this is hard. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go to Whitney Houston,
Yeah.
because she was huge,
Yeah.
and just watching her, she could sing anything, and her stage presence and vocally, she's just a beast. But as far as a big band, my favorite band is seeing is Earth, Wind, and Fire, like hands down. So
Yeah.
seeing this is it. Oh my God, this is phenomenal. So.
So, growing up in Kansas City, there's all these places that have gained a legendary status, from 18 and Vine to other clubs around town. What was the first stage that you got on where you were like, I can't believe this is happening, or this is it. This is what I always dreamed would be my life.
Surprisingly, the Blue Room.
Yeah.
I was 18 years old, and my brother afforded me that opportunity. I think I was probably one of the youngest ever booked, officially, unofficially, at that time there. And I was just like, anybody that's at the Blue Room, and which I do now, like do the Kansas City Jazz Academy and different things like that. I invite the students to come and play with me in my show so they get that experience. But I remember being 18, like, what? This is happening on the legendary stage of the Blue Room of 18th and Vine. And ever since that day, now I am there consistently
Yeah.
at the Blue Room, which is there this Friday. And the way the Kansas City shows up for me is just phenomenal. It brings me to tears. But that's when I knew I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Bringing joy, singing, it's a passion. So it when I say it just really, so a lot of times I say in my shows, music therapy, welcome to your music therapy session. And that's one of
Yeah.
the things that I say when I'm on stage. Really, it's therapy for us too, as musicians and singers, because we're able to leave it out all on the stage and it brings us so much joy.
Well, and I think increasingly now with what's going on in America, with all these things that are creating stress, the clown show that continues to unravel, I think music and the arts is a huge bastion for people to feel connected, to feel a little bit of escapism. Are you thinking about that more and more as
Oh,
we
yes.
slip into war and immigration things and all of that?
Definitely. I mean, it's funny that you said that because a lot of times I will have to remove myself from the news or different things, and I won't watch it as much because it begins to really take over my attitude, how I feel. because I understand that I am being used. God is using me in my platforms to bring people together, no matter if they're black or white, red and blue. No one when it's good music and everybody is in one room, nobody's asking those questions. Everybody's able to come together and really unite as one and having a good time. Music brings us together, and I understand as a person, it is my duty to make sure that I can deliver that joy, that I can deliver that music and that passion to people to make them forget about what's going wrong in the world,
Yeah.
what's not right. So
Yeah.
it is definitely my honor and a pleasure to be able to do that.
So, you grew up around music, the McFaddens, your family, you saw musicians around you, and you had these dreams of being a musician. What's been the difference between what you thought it was going to be like to be a professional musician and what it's actually turned out to be living that life?
That is a great question. I don't, it is so I have a term that I always use, and that's all that glitters isn't gold. And it is an old term that some people will use, and it's definitely glitter. That's what I say a lot. Because what you see on stage for a lot of musicians is not what it's like. And I've been afforded, like I said, I've been on stage and behind, whether it be Chris Calico or Tech Nine. I've worked with T-Pain. I mean, and it's funny because I do jazz and I've worked on the rap side a lot with the people who are huge. And the one thing that they have taught me, when you're on stage, you're Delynia Jannell. But when you get off stage, you are Delynia Brown, mommy, wife, whatever the case may be. My kids care less of who I worked for, said, or whatever. And a lot of times I don't say what the accolades that I have because they just know they're hungry and what time is dinner.
Yeah.
Versus when I'm on stage, people are like, oh my gosh, such and such, and they're asking these great questions. The one thing about it, it takes a lot of work, and people don't realize I have a nine-piece band. And a nine-piece band is not always easy because you're dealing with nine different schedules. You're dealing with nine different personalities. Now, I'm very blessed and fortunate that I have a wonderful band and people that I work with, and we all get along because for me, talent is one thing, but your attitude is the biggest thing for me. I can get you to where I need you to be, where we all come up together. But really, I've dealt with a lot of musicians inconsistent, you know. And I'm blessed now to where I don't deal with that as much. Getting set lists, getting music. Like I create a show. I am not the artist that gets up there and be like, what we're gonna sing today. I hate that. Everybody knows what we're doing. Everybody knows when we're doing it. And it is a whole show that I would love to say is seamless, but most of the time it is. So that's a lot of work in the background that people don't understand. And then you have the venue side. You have to deal with the business side of being in music. You're in charge of your own business. So communicating that on the business side, and then you have the music side. It's not as easy, but the gratification I think that a lot of musicians that we get is that we absolutely love and have passion for what we do. And once you're on that stage and the adrenaline's going and you're able to have that satisfaction to bring a product or the music to people that is going to bring joy, that is what we live for. That is what makes it worth it. When someone comes up to me at the end of the show, you really touched me. I got a text message, I think yesterday. Sometimes you just don't know what people are going through. There's like, thank you for singing that song. Um, my dad sung that song to me and it brought me to tears. I was dealing with some things today, or thank you for this because I had two different women, and I know I'm going off at the mouth, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna shut up. But I had two women who were like, I'm in stage 4 cancer. And I've never had so much joy coming to your show. Thank you so much because I don't know how much longer I have to live. Thank you. And those are
Wow.
those moments to where when we do what we're doing, this is what we're doing this for.
Yeah.
It's past us and it's beyond us.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. No, I'm glad
I
you said
love it.
that. Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this. You're a part of a very rich history in Kansas City of not only jazz, but even with Tech Nine and other big names that are putting this town on the map. What does it mean for you to be a part of this Kansas City community from the end of Tech Nine to Jazz Cats that you perform on stage with? What does that mean for you?
It is rich. It means a lot. Kansas City, I tell people this, if you can survive musically in Kansas City, and everybody may not agree that lives out of town, you can survive anywhere. And the reason why I believe that we are very opinionated. If you don't sound good, we're not coming. And the one thing that I have learned, and everybody that leaves Kansas City who has their roots have been here, they are thriving when they leave because they have gotten the tools, they have gotten the stage presence, they have gotten the resources that they needed to be an excellent musician or a singer. And so when they leave, they are thriving and able to, I mean, they have written for huge artists. I can call out from your Justin Biebers to your I don't know to your Ariana Grande to so many that I can keep going that I know personally who have produced music out of Kansas City who are now in California living or so forth. To be a part of that, it means so much because there's many talented people and they don't have to use me. So I'm honored that I get the call to be like, hey, or be a part of, hey, we trust you enough with our music to help us deliver what's going on. And it's really spilled over into my own music to where now I'm confident being on my own and be able to produce the music to keep providing in our city. So it
Yeah.
is legendary. It means so much. Almost brings me to tear because it didn't have to be me.
It's interesting. I've never heard that before. It's almost as though what you're saying is we are like an Apollo theater. We're going to sniff you out and you're going to get booted off if you're no good.
Yeah. And that's even from the church. Let me tell you,
Right.
the church is even worse because the church would be like, the mother be like, no, baby, that ain't it. Just come to the kitchen and help us with the food. Or they're like, okay, all right, baby, you sound really good. And that's really where I got a lot of my start from
Yeah.
is in the church, but they are not going to tell you, they're not going to steer you wrong.
Yeah.
And it's crazy when people come from California and they come to the Blue Room. I had people from Minnesota, New York, Atlanta this past Friday that were visiting because it's a historic 18th and Vine, and they'll come to the Blue Room. And I'm thinking in my mind, several more than one time when I give a show, they're like, that was fabulous. And I'm not saying like, oh, I'm all that, but they'll be like, that was fabulous. And in my mind, I'm like, but you live in New York, but you live in California. Don't you get that great music? And a lot of times they're like, no, we
Wow.
don't. We don't see anything like this. Yes, there's music, but the caliber that you are bringing or that Kansas City brings is different. So it makes my heart glad.
So let's dig a little further into the Kansas City lore. If you could get into a time machine and go back into the annals of Kansas City and see one performance, one show, where are you going?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I would love to be in the room with the Charlie Parkers. Um, to be in the room with those greats who did it way before. Just to be in the room to see what the 18th and Vine, I don't think it was
Yeah.
18th and it's probably like 16th or something. I can't remember the
Yeah.
corner. But just to be on the Vine and just to see that whole process would would be
Yeah.
so amazing.
Yeah.
Um, because we call them jazz cats, right? Those
Yep.
jazz cats they laid the foundation
Yeah.
and they were moving the time to where it was hard to move. And yet they still were they were amazing. They were able to get on the map to produce music that we still carry on today. So I would love to be in the room with all of them just there. And it was open mic, like they would come in there and jam like it
Yeah.
was nothing. And it still happens today.
Yeah.
But back then, oh,
Yeah.
just to be on that.
Yeah, and the amount of activity that was going on. I would love to see those perennials, but I would also love to have seen Mary Lou Williams. As far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned, she was one of the best ever. And she was a woman at a time where there was no women. And the fact that she even braved it as long as she did, because I heard somebody wrote a book on Kansas City, a comprehensive look, and she ended up quitting because on the tour bus, she had kind of a box of all of these personal things she brought with her from Pittsburgh and someone stole it. And she was like, I'm out. I'm out. No more. And she just quit. She was out. But when you really dig into what she was doing and what her music was, it was some of the finest that was ever made in
it
this.
was.
Yeah.
It
So
definitely was. I mean, all of them, and even with your Ella Fitzgerald's, Billie Holiday, like Scott, just to have like to sit in a room
Yeah.
and just see how they came up,
Mm.
with those. It's just mind blowing. But yes, Marilyn
Yep.
Williams, like all those greats.
Yeah.
Um, I would just to be a fly on the wall. I would just
Yeah,
eat it all up.
for sure.
Just
So let me ask you this. Everyone has a perception of you. Family, friends, fans, everyone on the bandstand, everyone that knows you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
oh, that's a good job. I think I would like to think that one thing I am consistent. I am loyal. I am that. And I'm gonna make sure you're gonna have a good show, and kind. Now you may ask my band that and they may say something different. I'm just saying I am very kind. They just know that I am very passionate about my music and everything's indecent and in order. But my family, friends, I say they love me. They're gonna be there. If I can help, I'm gonna be there. I love people,
Yeah,
and that's the one thing I love bringing people together. So passionate, people person, loving, and I'm a musician. I'm a singer, and it says I'm sensitive about my right.
yeah, yep.
The words of Erykah Badu. But yes, I would say those are the things about me.
So what do you love the best about this city, Kansas City?
They support. If they believe in it, they really support. I think we could support more, but for me, my following, I can only talk about mine. And that's the one thing I love about my following, as well as when I see other musicians, I look at mine and it is different. It is not the same following as other artists, and I count that a blessing. I have a very diverse following, and I'm proud of that. And they support me and they show up. And that's probably because of my different you can put me in a room whether you're doing country, rap, jazz, R&B, Motown. I have been in those sectors, and that's what I think calls and brings in a lot of diversity for those people who are following and supporting me. So, Kansas City, thank you for the platform, the stages, and the support. I couldn't be more proud to be from this amazing place.
So we're entering the warm months. What's the itinerary look like? Recordings, any of the good business in your world? How do people follow you on social? All of that.
Yeah, so great question. So definitely Delynia Jannell, and it's there in the corner, Delynia, Jannell, Jannell. I am the only one. So you Google me, put it in there, social media, you're gonna find me. Upcoming, I have done everybody else's recordings, like I said, from Strange Music, Chris Calico. This year, I am being brave, and people have been asking. I'm gonna be it's secret. No one, a lot of people don't know. I have a project coming out that I
All
am
right.
working on, and so that is in the works. So I'm excited about that. You can catch me every month at Johnny's Jazz Bar, Sullivan's in Leawood. Johnny's Jazz Bar is in Liberty. I am there consistently every month. And of course, the Blue Room. You're going to catch me there this month and so forth throughout the summer. So watch my calendar. I post it every month. Come see me.
I love it. I will put links in the show notes. What a joy. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking a minute out. Thank you for what you give to Kansas City. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, and thank you, Joe, for what you give to us. Thank you for giving us a platform here
Yeah,
as an artist to talk about, what we do and what we love.
it's an honor. I love you guys. It's absolutely an honor. And
Neon Jazz.